Hello, everybody. Welcome to our space. My name is Rhonda Jones. I'm MESSA's health promotion consultant. Thank you for joining us for this self-care challenge, as we're calling it. We decided we wanted to do something because of such a strange time to help support our members and to share information that can help you stay healthy and help you reach optimal wellness. So what we have today is this Zoom check-in, and I have a special guest with us. Her name is Dr. Raquel Garzon of Revitalize Project. Raquel is going to share some information around mindfulness, nutrition, and movement, and help us learn some things, some strategies that can help us stay healthy and stay well during the season. Thank you, Raquel.
Thank you, Rhonda. I'm so excited to be here with you and to share these 5 resiliency strategies that we can use not just now during COVID-19, but really anytime that we're facing challenge. And that's what I love about these strategies. You can use them ongoing in your life. And not only that, but these strategies, I also go into schools and I teach this to children. So you're able to take these strategies and you can use them in your own family, with your own kids. If you are in a position in which you are teaching kids in the classroom, these are just techniques that you can also add in addition to whatever else that you're doing. So I'm just going to jump right into it and get us started. And we're going to try to make it as practical as possible, meaning that we're going to actually do as many of these strategies as we can while we're here together. What I want to do to set the tone and for you to understand where these strategies come from is I do want to talk about the brain a little bit and just I highlight the amygdala, because the amygdala's job is in the emotional part of our brain, and its job is to detect any threats in our environment. Now, of course, those are threats that we might have to overcome in order to live, but the amygdala is very sensitive, and it actually responds to what you'll see there in the very first line that I've highlighted: surprising, ambiguous, or uncertain situations. So if you take a look at what the situation that we're in right now, it's ambiguous, it's uncertain. And what happens is that for most of us, our amygdala, that fear-based center, is actually being triggered. And it creates what we call fear and anxiety-based behaviors. And a lot of times we don't think that it's being triggered. We just think, oh no, I feel fine, because we sort of normalize it. The system tries to, feel okay and function okay. So I'm just gonna give you a couple of things to look out for to see if maybe your amygdala is being triggered. If you are more hungry than usual, if you're eating more than you usually do, so we've seen these memes about the, Corona 15 and these memes of before and after the coronavirus and quarantine, an increase in appetite or hunger is a sign that your amygdala is under threat. If you're seeking out a lot of reward or pleasure activity, so binge watching Netflix, opening up that bottle of wine, pampering yourself, really indulging, and then at the same time avoiding things that are uncomfortable or require effort. That would be things like exercise, organizing your house and your garage, and things that, maybe in your mind you thought, oh, maybe that'll give me a chance to do these sorts of things, but instead you find yourself sort of not feeling motivated to do those. And then, of course, if you're feeling notions of anxiety and angst and maybe some gastrointestinal types of issues, worry, all of those sorts of things are signs that your amygdala might be activated. So I just put this checklist here because a lot of times the more things that you check on this list, just one of these could trigger your amygdala. But obviously, if you have a lot of these going on, loneliness might be one because we're in quarantine. Especially if you live by yourself or your family is far away. The uncertainty, as I mentioned, lack of control is a huge one. Anytime that we sense a lack of control, that amygdala is triggered. So all of the strategies that I'm going to provide for you today are all around calming the amygdala. The amygdala is all about adrenaline and cortisol and stress hormones. What we're going to do is try to counteract our amygdala. We're going to try to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. That is all about relaxation and calm and bringing our heart rate down and helping us to really activate rational thought and those sorts of things. So that's the backdrop of what I want to provide to you in this session. So let's start with those 5 strategies to train the brain, calm the amygdala, and not just help us to survive during this time. We want to help you thrive. We want you to actually feel like you're doing really well and maybe even create some habits that make you even better than you were to begin with. So that is the idea here, if we can do that. So I'm going to start with number 5. I'm going to work backwards here. So strategy number 5, an way to remember it, is that it starts with 5. It's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. And this technique is really good to calm emotions if you're feeling overwhelmed, reduce anxiety, and also to bring you back to the present moment. So sometimes our thoughts and our emotions run away from us, and we're imagining things that aren't necessarily happening right here, right now, and we're worrying about things in the future. This brings us back to the present. So we're actually going to do this technique together. This is the technique in which you identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. So we're going to do it together. Since you're all on mute, I can't hear you. So what I'd like for you to do right now is look around and actually identify 5 things that you can see, and I want you to say them out loud. I can't hear you, so don't worry. So right now, start that process. I'm going to say mine to myself.
Camera.
Okay, I can hear somebody, so somebody's not on mute. I think just be careful with that mute. I mean, it's great that you're doing this, but we want everybody to be able to do that on their own. Okay, perfect. So hopefully you were able to name 5 things you could see. Now I want you to reach out and actually touch 4 different things, and try to touch 4 things that have a different texture, and really notice what that feels like as you reach out and you touch that. And maybe even say it to yourself. This feels soft. This feels hard. This has pores in it, whatever that might be. Okay, hopefully you were able to touch 4 things. Now you're going to acutely listen to 3 things you can hear. You can probably hear my voice. Do you hear the buzz of the computer, a fan, air conditioning, a lawnmower outside, birds chirping? So 3 things you can hear. And now I want you to smell 2 different things. So you can either already smell things in your environment, and if not, you can find things. So I have my nifty little chapstick here. I can smell that and distinguish that smell. I've got some mints here. Totally different smell. So 2 things you can smell. And now finally, 1 thing you can taste, which is whatever you're tasting in your mouth. Could be coffee, tea, your breakfast, maybe just your mouth saliva. So that is definitely just to try to name it something. So the idea here is to really bring you to your awareness of yourself and your environment. And when you look around the environment and you see, touch, hear, smell, and taste things, a lot of times it's very calming because our environment typically is safe wherever we are. And that's what I hope for everybody. So again, use this technique, teach it to your kids. It works really, really well. Okay, number 4. Starts with the number 4, so it's easy to remember. So it's 4, 7, 8 breathing, or 4 by 4 breathing, and we're actually going to practice both. So I just want to give you a little bit of information of what this does. It can help you to calm emotions, reduce your anxiety, once again bring present focus. But the other thing that this does is it actually increases resiliency. And the way that this happens is when you practice this type of breathing, you're actually stimulating what's called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in your body. It is associated with your parasympathetic nervous system, so the relaxation part of our system. And when we work this vagus nerve on a regular basis, the vagus nerve actually becomes stronger. It's called increasing vagal tone. So just the way that we increase the tone of our muscles, by practicing this, we increase vagal tone, which actually makes us more resilient to stress. So we're going to practice 2 cycles of each of these types of breathing together. So I actually want you to do this with me. So we're going to start with the 4, 7, 8 breath, where we inhale for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. And we'll do that 2 times around, and I'm going to count that out for you. So here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's important about 4, 7, 8 breathing is that your exhale takes double the time as your inhale. And the longer your exhale takes compared to your inhale, you're stimulating that vagus nerve even more. What you'd want to do is at least 5 cycles or a minute. Probably a minute is going to be less time than doing 5 cycles of this. And that way you can get the full experience. It's like a workout. So when you're lifting weights, you have to do a certain number of repetitions. So I would recommend at least 5 cycles, at least 1 minute minimum of this, and see how that feels for you. The second technique, and they both do something similar, but you might find that you like one more than the other. So we're going to do the 4x4, where we inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold for 4 before we inhale again. So we're going to do 2 cycles of that. I'm going to count it out for you. Here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now just breathe normal. So if you found that you liked that one better, you could do that one. Same thing, try to do it at least for a minute or 5 cycles of that. And then practice it all the time, every day if you can, a couple of times a day. It truly makes you more resilient. The other thing I wanted to point out that I put at the bottom of the slide were just some other options to actually stimulate the vagus nerve. There are lots of ways to do it. So I've included here other ways. In case the breathing is a struggle for you, singing actually does the same thing. So does humming, chanting, and actually gargling. So if you want to do all of these things, probably not all at once, but if you enjoy singing, singing is a great way because of the use of the diaphragm, just like breathing, it actually enhances and increases vagal tone. Humming, a lot of times people hum, and it's like they don't even notice that they're doing it. They hum sort of as a way of feeling better, and they don't realize what humming is actually doing is, once again, pulling in that diaphragm. Chanting that you see in some meditations and yoga actually works really well, especially very specific chants that really activate the diaphragm. And then gargling. So if you want to gargle your water, gargle your mouthwash, whatever it is that you can gargle, it specifically also does the same thing. So lots of different options, once again, to do this. All right, I'm going to go to number 3, dance in the rain. So you can do this literally, and that may have its own benefits, but we're going to dance in the rain, figuratively speaking. And for this particular technique, it's very helpful because it can help increase your self-awareness around your emotions and thoughts, how you can manage your emotions and thoughts, and then also be nurturing to yourself. So the first couple of techniques I gave you are a way to dispel what might be happening in your life. So if you're feeling really anxious, the first 2 techniques might be to calm you down. This technique is to actually let you feel and let you have those thoughts that you're having, because if we're always trying to distract ourselves away from our thoughts and emotions, then we don't have a chance to process them. And then sometimes what happens is they end up being acted out in our lives, meaning that I try to push away my sadness. I try to push away this sense of grief. And then what ends up happening is I start to use bad coping mechanisms to deal with the things I haven't dealt with. So this actually causes us to go and confront that, which is sometimes necessary. So this could be for an emotion that's uncomfortable for you, or you don't really like it, or it feels kind of negative. So examples that I gave you were grief, loss, sadness. It could be anger, worry, those sorts of things, and thoughts that sound like that. So worrisome thoughts, thoughts that you keep repeating, negative types of thoughts. The first step in RAIN is R, recognize. Recognize and try to name what you're feeling. And instead of just saying, I don't know, I just feel yucky, right? You're going to say, actually, what I think I'm feeling is sad. What I think that I'm thinking about is just worry, and it's spinning out of control. Try to name it and recognize what it is. The second piece, A, allow. Allow it to be. Don't try to make it go away or push it away. Allow yourself to feel sad, because that feeling is real. It's there for a reason. Allow that thought to be there. It's there for a reason. It doesn't mean that's who you are. Just allow it to exist. Now, I is for investigate. Allow yourself to investigate with curiosity. So almost like being a scientist. Why am I feeling sad? What's going on right now? Is it, sadness over a loss of connection with people, a loss of control? Maybe I'm losing loved ones, or I realize the impact that this situation is having and I'm feeling sad. So just try to begin to investigate, peel back the layers of the onion and figure out why you're feeling this. Now, just ask yourself, what do I need? N stands for need or nurture. What do I need right now? Do I need to connect with somebody? Is that what I'm feeling? Do I need to maybe rest and relax? Do I need to bring myself to the present moment and rein in those thoughts? What do I need to do to nurture myself? Because what I see people doing are things like, well, what I need is a quarantini right now, okay? What I need is to just veg out and watch 7 hours of Netflix or whatever that might be. Is that what you really need? Do you need to raid the refrigerator? Do you need alcohol? So a lot of times what we're reaching to that we think we need is a very short-term fix, and then we find ourselves right back to where we started. Really try to identify in a nurturing way, with compassion to yourself, what you really need to address that actual emotion or thought. So this is a little bit more in depth, but it can really help you to move forward with more constructive actions rather than coping mechanisms that are short term. So practice this. The more you practice, the better you get. All right, number 2, because what you discover in RAIN might be that you need to reset and replenish yourself. So what I've done is I put 7 categories together of reset and replenish, and there are lots of things to choose from. So of course I put watching TV. So watching TV is relaxing, but just like anything in life, you can have too much of a good thing. 7 hours is probably too much. When it starts to exceed what you really need in order to get to the state that you're looking for, it can actually then lead to more negative consequences. So watching TV to relax yourself, but then moving on to whatever else it is that you think you need or want to do. So you'll see some of these categories: being in nature and meditation and yoga, interacting with people you like, just getting together on a call, on video. Pets are fantastic at helping you to recover. Sports and exercise are huge. When we're feeling stressed, we have a fight or flight response, and we have all of this adrenaline and cortisol that's released. It's supposed to make us move, to flee, to run, and most of us are sitting. So when we don't have a way of exerting and using those hormones or those chemicals, it's a problem. It's a problem. So get out there. I mean, get outside of on your balcony if you need to, on your backyard, even in your own room, and just start doing something that allows that adrenaline to dissipate. So whatever it is that you need to do. Healthy eating, that's very important. Good gut bacteria, eating fiber, eating healthy actually helps your system to activate that, the brain and the gut, those work together, and this helps to reduce stress and anxiety and prevent against depression. So healthy eating. Short naps of 10 to 30 minutes can help, and then getting a good night's sleep. Those are all huge from a physical perspective. Hobbies, art and music are great. This is where you can sing. And then, of course, there's humor and laughter, which we're actually going to practice together right now. So there are strong chemicals that are released in laughter that help activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So right now, you are going to laugh on cue. We're going to do this together. Here we go. Make some crazy faces. And here's what the research shows. If you can laugh, like natural laughter, especially really hard belly laughs, it's very powerful in the brain from a chemical perspective. But even if you fake laugh, it still works. So let's try that again. Maybe fake laughing leads to real laughing. Who knows? We're going to practice that laughter one more time. Here we go. Okay, see, I'm willing to put myself out there, so hopefully you are too. So the last one that's on here is about volunteering, acts of kindness, compassion, gratefulness. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to practice this, but we're going to practice it in combination with recommendation or strategy number 1. So here we go. What is it? It is to practice mindfulness. So mindfulness helps to decrease stress, anxiety, and negativity, the repetition of thoughts that we may not want to have, this fear response. So what we want to do to practice mindfulness is super simple. You bring awareness to the present moment. So when we did the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, that was mindfulness. When we did the breathing techniques, if you were actually counting and keeping track, that was mindfulness. So you can actually practice mindfulness in anything. You could be practicing mindfulness as you watch this recording because you're paying attention, you're noticing and taking in what's going on. There's a second way to practice mindfulness, which is what we're going to do together, and that's where you take your awareness and you direct it to a specific emotion that you want to develop. And that's where that kindness and compassion and tolerance and those sorts of things come in. We're going to actually practice this with gratefulness together. So what I want you to do is get very comfortable. You can close your eyes if you want to, but it is not required to do this exercise because I'm going to lead you through it. So here we go. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I want you to bring your awareness to your body and where it is. I want you to bring awareness to where you feel the weight of your body. So if you're standing, you're going to feel the weight of your body through your feet touching the ground. And if you're sitting, you're going to feel the weight of your body in your bottom or your legs. And I just want you to bring your awareness to your body. Now what I want you to do is bring your awareness to gratefulness. How does gratefulness feel in your body? How does gratefulness feel in your emotions? What does it feel like to be grateful? And then I want you to think about grateful thoughts. What do grateful thoughts sound like? And taking in those grateful thoughts and those grateful emotions, I want you to begin to think about everything you're grateful for right here, right now in your life. Typically, we think of the obvious things first. Our family, our friends, our job, our home, things along those lines. And that's what I want you to think of, those first things that you think of when you're being grateful. Now I want you to take those same grateful thoughts and those same grateful emotions, and I want you to expand your gratefulness to now think of things that you're grateful for that you don't always typically think of when you're being grateful. Especially right now, you might be grateful for having toilet paper. You might be grateful that you're able to go to the store and find the food that you need or want to eat. You may be grateful that we now have technology that allows you to do work or stay connected to loved ones that would have been very difficult to do 30 years ago. Start to expand that gratefulness to things you don't normally think of. And now I want you to take those grateful thoughts and grateful emotions, and I want you to think of something that is uncomfortable, or maybe you perceive as being negative in your life right now. And I want you to try to apply to this negative thought or this negative situation or negative circumstances, I want you to apply gratefulness thoughts and gratefulness emotions. So maybe the situation that you're in, because of the challenging times that we're in right now, you don't like it. You may have been impacted job-wise. Maybe your loved ones were impacted job-wise. Maybe the situation that you have having to work from home and juggle so many different things comes across as negative. Find something to be grateful for in it. Maybe something you can learn, a way that you can grow, somehow that you are able to adapt to it in a new way that you otherwise wouldn't have if you had not been put into this situation. Finding optimism and gratefulness in difficult or negative situations is a skill that we can practice and you can become good at, and it actually leads to more resilience. So push yourself to find some gratefulness in some of the negative situations you're facing. And finally, I want you to take those thoughts of gratefulness and the emotions of gratefulness and apply them to yourself. How can you be grateful to yourself for the strength that you have, for your purpose, for your values, for the way that you positively impact others, for the way that you create meaning. It doesn't have to be in grandiose ways. You don't have to be solving world problems. In just the simplest of actions and interactions, be grateful for who you are and what you have to offer. Finally, I just want you to bring your attention back to your body and where it is, once again, where you feel the weight of your body, so that we can come back together into the present moment. So that is just one way that you can use mindfulness to direct your awareness into a specific emotion. You can use this for forgiveness, acceptance, tolerance, compassion, kindness. And so what I suggest is that you actually maybe choose an emotion a week and decide to work on it and use these mindful techniques. And what happens, what the research shows, is you actually strengthen the neural connections of this emotion in your mind, so that you're more able to tap into it. And what happens is when you get into a situation that's stressful, you're more likely to tap into some of these more opportunity-based emotions instead of survival-based emotions. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And of course, if you're doing it on your own, you can do it any way that you want to. There are some apps out there that you can use. I would suggest you use reminders so that you don't forget to be mindful. And if you can practice more times a day or start or end the day with mindfulness, you'll see that you'll get a lot of return on investment. So hopefully that was helpful to you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Rhonda, to be with everybody and to communicate this message. Here's just information on how you can find me, my website, LinkedIn, my book on Amazon, however it is that you would like to find me and reach out to me. Thank you, Rhonda, for everything. I so much appreciate it, and I'm so grateful to you.
Thank you, Dr. Garzon. We appreciate you. That was wonderful information. I'm going to make sure to practice a couple things, especially the dance in the rain, because it's raining here. And I'm going to start laughing when my husband walks in the door. I'm going to just start laughing and see what he does.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
thank
awesome.
You so much. A lot of the information I share with our members at Lunch and Learns and at conferences, I learned from Dr. Raquel Garzon. I met her at a conference I went to several years ago. I did an intensive session, a 2-day session with her. And a lot of the information she shared today, I learned there, and I share with our members as well. So thank you for coming. And again, you can find out more about what Dr. Garzon offers at www.revitalizeproject.com. Also, just a reminder of our benefits, our MESSA benefits. Abby, are you on the line? Can you share some information about our MESSA online doctor visits?
Hi, Rhonda. Can you hear me, I hope?
I can.
All right. Excellent. Great. Thanks so much for having us. Again, Dr. Garzon, thanks so much for your information today. I think always it's good information, but especially now as we are dealing with unprecedented things in our lives. So regarding our online care, we do have the opportunity for all of our medical members to visit with healthcare providers online. And this can be either through their phone or through their computer, through Blue Cross online visits. Information is available at MESSA.org or even from your local MESSA field rep. And these are going to be for items that are typically urgent care kinds of situations, but even right now there's going to be a much broader need for telehealth. Certainly many of your doctors may also be doing their own telehealth, but this service through Blue Cross online visits is going to be with our Blue Cross providers. In addition to our normal physical ailments, we have included mental health services with that Blue Cross online visit system. So through the online mental health services, you can visit with therapists, counselors, psychologists, and psychiatrists based on your needs. And it's a really great way to touch base with a lot of these things that we talked about today. And you can schedule appointments, just a regular appointment as you normally would with any other mental health provider. So with the online visits, we think that it's just another way that our members can get the care that they need as they need it, where they need it, especially now that we are all spending so much time at home. So again, any more information you need about the Blue Cross online visits is available at MESSA.org, and you can log in through there. You can also get access to the application from the website and get you going on getting that care that you need. Thanks, Rhonda. Appreciate you hosting this for us today.
Thanks, Abby. Thanks for sharing that information. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, May 5th, and we'll be back in the Zoom room. And I hope to see your faces, and we'll share more information on how to take care of yourself during this time. Thank you.